Nintendo has been cranking out games over the past few years. Xenoblade 2 Octopath Traveler, Torna, JRPGs, mostly exclusive to the Switch, have been kind of lackluster to me. Xenoblade 2 had interesting gameplay and amazing animated action cutscenes, but it fell apart with character development and the ending of the story. Octopath Traveler was selling itself on 8 different characters, all with their own stories, but none of them really even interacted, as far as I was able to get. Torna gated you through side quests, and while that isn't a huge deal breaker to some people, I feel like they're called side quests for a reason. And now, Fire Emblem. I've only played the last 3 games in the series and a little bit of Fire Emblem Blazing Blade. Echoes was strong, but I couldn't take the dungeon crawling on the 3DS. Awakening was fun and a good entry point, and Fates was fun for a bit, but then there's, well, this.
I see you missed your big sister.
I don't like it!
So now on to Three Houses. It's pretty good. On the list of JRPGs I've played during the years, Three Houses lands around here. To put it simply, Three Houses changes the gameplay of the series with some mechanical adjustments and the addition of new enemy types. The story was varying enough between each run that the game was replayable and interesting. The gameplay of the Fire Emblem series has remained pretty consistent throughout the many games that it's had. It's like more complex chess, if you want to describe it simply. Weapon skills return from echoes and allow for more weapons to gain the advantage during battle. These skills use durability, another returning mechanic. When a weapon runs out of durability, it'll break, and its effectiveness will drop significantly. Despite how daunting all of that may sound, it was never much of an inhibitor when I played through the game. These mechanics add challenge and variety to a game that, on release, didn't have much challenge to it. I played on hard casual. Even if it was classic, I only lost a few units on the last few maps, which I could have played differently if I wasn't boss rushing. It was a surprisingly easy playthrough when I had more trouble on the older games on easier difficulties. The addition of monster enemy types with multiple health bars is interesting, but they tend to be more of a nuisance than an actual fun mechanic. The new part of Three Houses is being allowed to explore the monastery, which allows you to engage in new activities that will help you advance relationships with your army. It also allows you to detain items and more time slots that will feel more necessary on harder difficulties. Ultimately, Three Houses is pretty fun, but until recently, was mostly also pretty easy. It's got a solid battle system and some new mechanics that keep it fresh. It's a good first Fire Emblem game for anyone interested in a fresh take on the series.
Part 1. White Clouds. Great Tree Moon. Three Houses.
There are 4 routes in the game. Each route focuses on a specific house. You can choose to play one or to play them all. But I think seeing every character's motivations and beliefs is important to understanding the overall story. Three Houses' writing and story is pretty good, especially in comparison to some older entries. It's not quite at its best. A lot of the time, there will be flags raised when no flags need to be raised, but it's good enough that it makes it a good entry in the series. Three Houses is an okay looking game. Frame dips and some weird lighting can show during gameplay, as well as some resolution drops here and there. They aren't very noticeable, in my opinion, but you can see them every now and then. The character models and expression artworks are good looking, and many of the characters share the same animations, which are common in between games, so it's not a big deal. It looks better than the 3DS models, and I actually have left animations on, unlike my experience with all three titles on the 3DS. The music is good and it has some standout tracks such as Tearing Through Heaven and Edge of Dawn. My praise otherwise ends there. The combat arts lack unique animations for the most part, which isn't inhibiting the game, but it adds some flavor to the use of arts, which I mostly forgot about in my later runs. As an example, why Tempest Lance and Monster Piercer have the exact same animation is a bit strange, since one seems to denote the fact that you are indeed piercing something and not cutting through. But it's not gameplay. Thankfully, many classes get their own unique animations, and some even get their own unique arts. So, the animations are not so repetitive. Three Houses managed to impress me. It isn't the next Persona 5, which is one of my favorite JRPGs of all time, but it shouldn't be overlooked. It's a solid title with a good story. While it has some issues here and there, in my opinion, it's the best JRPG currently available on the Switch. I hope this series continues to grow, and the next game can impress me even more.
Reach for my hand, I'll soar away into the dawn. No, I wish I could stay here and cherish heart.